Okay. Hello, I'm Pat Connor with Vicoding University, training humans to train themselves. And this time we're going to be talking about time. Uh, One of the things, well, let's just actually start in with the example. Okay. A lot of times in baseball, baseball hitters get into slumps. And usually the hitting coach starts to work with the player. And sometimes it's just a minor adjustment of the elbow or little things that they're doing, where they're focusing or whatever. And he works with it and gets them back going. And other times he tries to readjust their whole stance and even how they swing. And in this process, what he's attempting to do is to improve the hitter so that he actually will have a new and better batting average. Okay. All right. But one of the challenges with that is it's a whole new stance, a whole new hitting, and there's lots of little things that have to go with it, and it rarely works. So most of the time, it's just a minor. Let's take your old stance and the old way you hit, and let's just adjust it slightly, and that usually works to get them back to where they were. Now, one of the challenges, let me tell you about when I learned to play tennis. One of the things happened is that I was taught to play tennis, and they said, well, do this, do this, do this, do this, because the person teaching me was basically, trying to just get it over with. And they, as they did that, it was like there were so many things to do that I got frustrated and quit. And later on, I did learn to play tennis, but the way I learned is I took on each little step one by one and patiently went through the process to learn how to play tennis. Now, there's always this drive to want it now. And that's the challenge. See, here's the hitter, and they're in the middle of they got a slump, and they need to get back in there, hit good, and a slight adjustment is gets them back at least where they were. But if they were hit at a higher batting, it might even be more valuable to the team, and that is they don't really have time for that. And so that rarely works. Now, it's sort of like you have this machine and it keeps breaking down, and you keep putting $100, $200, $300 into it, and it keeps working and gives you okay, but there's now this new machine out, and this new machine can produce 10 times the results, and you're going, whoa, 10 times, but it's thousands of dollars. Okay, and you're going, I can't afford that, so you keep working with this old machine because that's all you can afford, unless you save up, right? You got to save up the money, and while you're saving up, you can't fix the old machine, so now you're out of production. So what are you going to do? There's pressure to produce, but it's like, I want this new machine that produces 10 times the results, and so what are you going to do? Okay, so that's the situation we find ourselves in, is that when you set a New Year's resolution, a lot of times you want it now. Okay, and we're going to try to get you to slow down and develop this new growth machine that's going to take some time to develop, and it's going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, and so you're basically going to have to, so to speak, be patient, save up the money to get this new machine. All right. So let's look at it here real quick. Now I was sharing this with my son, and he said, "Oh, it's just delayed gratification," and he sort of threw it off. And there's this study out where these young kids. This was when they're real. Even preschooler. Right in their 4 or 5 years old. I don't know what it was exactly, but they offered them a marshmallow that they could eat right now, or if they waited until the experimenter came back into the room, they'd give him to eat that and not eat that marshmallow, and they'd give him 2 marshmallows. But they leave the marshmallow in front of him. And then they actually videotape it. Apparently, it's quite hilarious to watch these people, watch these children, excuse me, and to see how long and what they do to keep themselves from eating the marshmallow. And it's like, there it is, right in front. They think, oh, I want it now, but oh no, I can't eat it now because if I eat it now, I won't get 2, and and there's the frustration. But now the interesting part of the study is those children that waited for the second marshmallow, so to speak, that delayed the gratification, okay, were tracked until they were adults, and when they found out that the children that waited for the second marshmallow had much more productive lives and much happier lives than those that didn't. Okay, so interesting. Delayed gratification, producing a better machine, holding off for it pays off. Okay, because you take it out into your life as well. Now, one of the things that you can do, look back at these videos, is what did these kids do? Well, they distracted themselves by, singing to themselves, doing this, and if they caught themselves looking at the marshmallow, they quickly looked away or whatever. But they kept themselves focused on something else to pass the time. Okay, and that's what I sort of want you to get a little bit here. Is it? Let me just regroup here real quick. Okay, so they found a way to help work with this delayed gratification. Now, one of the other, so there's a trick, right? So keep yourself, we're going to go through this process, and we're going to start this new machine, and you're going to start working on your goals, and you're going to think, oh man, I want to get that now, and you're going to go back to your old ways. Okay, but if you can distract yourself and not, so to speak, eat the marshmallow of your old ways and keep working on developing these new ways of training yourself as opposed to force, okay, you're going to find that they become much more productive, actually 10 times. Because again, remember, the dieter goes back, he loses the weight, but he always goes back and gains it all back and more. He keeps getting stuck and stuck and stuck and stuck. And getting stuck is not what we're looking for. We're trying to get it so it becomes who you are. Just that the person you are allows you to have the things you want out of life. Okay? And it's not like you're live a deprived life. You live a wonderful life because it's exciting, and that's how we're training you. It's a rewarding life because you want that kind of life, and you get the results that you want as well. Now, being able to train yourself to be that person, okay, is the goal. Okay. Now, one of the challenges is I've thrown at you how many steps? 5 steps. That's sort of like me learning tennis. Remember, do this, do this. You're going to get very frustrated if you try to take them all on at once. And in each one of those steps, there's lots of different levels. There's, when you're starting out, you are going to start out just learn. It's not like just you learn one step. No, there's like levels and aspects of it each one of the steps that you're going to get better and better at. So again, one of the things that you're going to find out is when I just got a hip replacement, and I was retraining myself to walk. I mean, you'd be surprised if you have to retrain yourself to walk a little bit. And I was walking so good the day before. I mean, it's like, man, I really got this. I was walking good. And then the next day I got up and nothing was working. And I was like, wow. Oh, I got so far. Oh, and then my mind went, oh, I can't do this. I'm just going to have to walk the way I've always walked as opposed to this new way. And it's like, wait a minute here. See, I was being frustrated and I had to get in. My son popped in, oh, you just got to be patient, Dad. So you have to understand that a lot of times this idea of patience is you've got to understand what it is, and it's sort of regroup and remind yourself that there's a few levels to it. You're going to be one level because once you get something to work, you get so excited that, okay, I'm done. You want to be done. You want to get there. You have that drive to just get back to just being you and not having to train, not having to do this, not having to whatever. So remind yourself that you might have to be patient. Okay, now let me just review what else I want to remind you of here. Okay, so one thing at a time, patience and things like that you want to talk about. And one of the things we're going to talk about is learning to make this process of growing yourself wonderful. We're going to make that journey wonderful. Now, there's lots of ways, and we're going to talk about how you can go about doing that. But one of the things they talk about is two people make the road shorter. I don't know if you gather that, but basically, when you're traveling on a journey or down a road, if there's 2 people, you talk and you work together, and it just all of a sudden you're there. And it's wonderful. So remember, there's lots of techniques to make the journey great, and one of them is to bring someone along. So remember, as you develop this, as you start to train yourself which is interesting. Okay, you're going to make lots of mistakes. Okay, and you're going to go through multiple levels, and things are going to work, and then you're going to want, have this drive to want it now, to make it easy and stuff like that. But you're going to get better and better, and as you do that, one of the things you do is just remind yourself about delayed gratification, distract yourself from wanting it now, and get back into enjoying the journey. And then remind yourself that too is that these ways that you enjoy the journey, you have to train yourself to enjoy the journey, are also things that don't just happen accidentally. You're going to have to train yourself to make them work as well. In other words, invite somebody on the journey and allow them to be part of that journey. That's a training. A lot of people can't do that. So you may need to train yourself so that that's possible for you. So again, our goal is to help you get through this process of training yourself to train yourself, which is sort of, wow, that's a lot, right? Okay, but delayed gratification, multiple levels, don't do everything at once, take them on one at a time, develop them, practice them, get better and better at it, and when you get good at one, it's working really good, don't get too excited that you're done, know there's probably more, and make it sort of a continuous process where you just enjoy the journey of you becoming more and more and becoming the person you want to become and getting the life that you want to have. All right, Pat Connor, Vicoding University, training humans to train themselves.